I start making butt rock, by the way. Finna start making butt rock.
Oh, get out of here with that.
Butt rock. Yeah, I got your picture in my wallet.
All right, so
Is it rolling?
yes, we're rolling. So butt rock and all that.
I got your picture. Start making some Benson Boone type beat.
But butt rock and all that ridiculous crap you're just saying is going to be in the podcast. But guys, what's up? Welcome back to the Park Score podcast. Today we're going to be doing a little review of a recent release. We're going to be doing a puff piece on my brother Cason because he just now released an album. We're happy for him, aren't we?
Yeah.
And so
Next up out of Prosper, Texas.
So yeah, just go ahead and dox your location like that.
Oh shit. I'm finna move anyway, y'all. So good luck tracking me down.
A few months ago, we had started a creative challenge, me, Cason, and our buddy Eric. And Cason was actually the only person to pull through. So Eric was doing some photos, I was doing some articles, Cason was doing some songs. And the idea was at the end of it, we were supposed to have a full creative project done, like a book, a photo album, Cason with his album. And Cason was the only one that pulled through. So we're
I mean, I'm the only one who finished the project, but also, so the rule was every week we were going to make something. It was going to come up to be about 26 pieces of work every week. And then I want to say that the first probably 10, maybe 10 weeks, probably 8, but first 8 weeks we were solid. Yeah. And then it was after that, it was we
were pretty consistent to begin with, and we were all meeting together and discussing things. And then, over time, I think I probably got to 12 articles, and then I kind of fell flat with things I wanted to talk about.
I'll say in total, I probably had about 15 songs. Probably about 12 that I would be okay with releasing. And then what came of that was 9 songs that ended up on an album that I was okay, yeah. Because towards the end of me looking at all of what I had, I was well, I want to make sure, because for all of you who didn't know, before this I released a little EP last year in June, and it was 5 songs, and at the time I thought they were really cool, but now I'm I realize there's one song on there that's pretty good, and the other ones are just serviceable, and I'm not proud of them at all. And I listen back to them and I'm yeah, this ain't it. So I really wanted to make sure that I was cutting out all the fluff, and it was all songs that I was really actually proud to show.
And so today we're gonna review it a little bit. We're gonna be kind of celebrating Cason's achievement. We'll get into some other topics here toward the latter half of the podcast, but I wanted to at least talk about and review Cason's album. I just listened to it. I wanted to wait and save my reaction for me and Cason's actual, him being here. And so to me, I have some notes on each individual song, but what'd you name the album?
It's just named Cason Gore.
So the eponymous album from Cason Gore, I'll probably put the actual cover as the thumbnail. Gavin McInnes said the word eponymous would go extinct if bands didn't name their albums after themselves, which is true. But so to me, the whole album gives me the vibe of sort of a 70s rock record.
Hell yeah, dude.
With the heavier, kind of fuzzier guitars. It's
That's good.
Very rhythmically driven, but there are also some elements of it that remind me of almost a 60s, more psychedelic record. Mm-hmm. And so the first song opens up. It's called Supercoat. I thought this was actually a pretty good intro to the album. Okay. This was the one song I listened to snippets of each song before me and Cason listened to them together. This was the one song where I actually was okay, this is some gas.
Dude. And okay, so that was my second, the way I ordered the songs is I basically ranked them 1 to 10, or at a scale 1 to 10, and that was my second highest rated song. And so I was okay, I'm gonna like come out of the gate with my second best as like, boom. It's like a banger coming out. So that was very much like on purpose that it started out with like a little oomph.
Yeah, no, I thought that was one of my favorite ones because I think it has the most swagger. It opens up with this sort of drum fill intro, and then immediately just like all the rest of the instruments come kind of flooding in, and it reminds me of something like a Vacations song or something out of the Mac DeMarco cohort. And then also there's kind of a piano solo there in the middle.
Yeah, so it was like a stylophone.
Okay, cool. Okay, yeah. Because that was like, to me, that was one of the coolest instrumental parts on the whole record.
Yeah.
And so I just thought that was super dope. And then the next song is called "Hey, What's Your Name?"
Yeah.
And I thought that the lead parts in this one were very minimalistic, but it was just sort of the right amount to pepper things in and make the rhythm guitar interesting. And the turnaround on the guitar is sort of the moodiest part of that track for me, and I like it. Like when I say 70s rock record for this one, I do think that like the best parts of this album are the ones that have some sort of swagger. Mm-hmm. The next song, "I Got the Money," you put that out as a single.
Yeah.
That was for me. It's like when I say like swagger, I mean like if you're listening to the song and you're walking, like it would sort of affect your gait.
Kind of like walk with a little like.
Yeah, exactly. And so I thought that one was pretty cool. Why'd you put that one out as a single?
I think it's personally my favorite song, just because it's like. I think one, just in the sound, and then also just the title of like "I Got the Money." It's like a very standalone and very like boisterous song. And so one, I thought it was the most pop, which isn't like not like a knock against it, but it's the most like kind of digestible and kind of catchiest. And then it's also just got that kind of that like swagger. And then it's also just my favorite song. Like that's one of my favorite songs off the album.
Yeah, solid. I thought the bass line on this one was very imposing. Like that's the word I wrote whenever I was doing my little notes here. I think the bass parts, because you started out as a bass player, I think the bass parts here are kind of unsung hero of the album. Yeah. I'm just a big fan of bass in general. I wish more people appreciated the bass and more players wanted to play the bass, because I just think it's just fat. The bass is just sick. But yeah, I thought the bass line on this was very imposing. The lead part on "I Got the Money" was it was again simplistic, but it had kind of a punk sort of attitude. There was a big confluence of styles here. There was some punk, there was some sort of funk, there was to me some indie stuff. I think the album is pretty well-rounded, at least in terms of showing off your influences.
Oh yeah, right.
And then there was another song, "One and the Same." Mm-hmm. I actually thought this one was pretty good because there was sort of there's this clean guitar part that's like juxtaposed against these super fuzzed out choruses. Mm-hmm. And to me, the kind of meandering or wandering, that typically when people say meandering in a song, it's a bad thing. It means noodling. Yeah. But when I mean meandering, I mean it's taking its time. Like that's what the clean guitar kind of felt like. It was like it's kind of taking its time walking through this song. And I don't know, I just liked it. It's sort of a sleepy, like enchanted kind of feeling with the clean guitar there. And it would just I thought it was nice against the super big fuzzed out chorus on that one. And then I forget if that's the one where your vocal style on that one is kind of. The vocal style on that one is kind of understated and like quiet.
Yeah. It's like low-key kind of too quiet to where like I know what I'm saying, but to someone who has never doesn't know, hasn't seen the lyric sheet or anything, it probably just sounds like I'm mumbling.
Well, I mean, that's why you try to drop a lyric sheet somewhere where people can find it, like maybe in the YouTube description or something like that, because the people who want to know what you're saying can go and find it. But I a lot of times feel like vocals are just nice as just a little smattering. I think there's a preference to make them kind of take over a song, and I don't think that's totally necessary. But I'm like a lightning bolt fan, so I think a lot of times vocals can serve as more of like a stylistic sort of thing. But there's another song, Transducer. I thought the name of this one was cool, and to me, the tones on this one, the guitar tones, were kind of mechanical and restrained in nature. And I mean that in a good way. I don't mean mechanical in terms of like, I mean mechanical as in like the actual tone itself sounds clangy and kind of clean and dry, but like in a good way. And again, I think this was interesting because a lot of times on a rock record, you'll mostly just hear fuzzed out guitars, lots of distortion, but I think some of that restraint kind of serves the album, and I think it serves some of the songs pretty well.
There's a part towards the end where I'm like just soloing, and especially later earlier in my like music making. My approach to solos was I'm going to treat every solo like a Kurt Cobain solo where like I'm going to try to go off. But as soon as it starts like kind of like just like I'm just going to like turn it into like a just trash noise solo. And so like on this album, I started to grow out of that. And a lot of the lead parts are just parts that are super simple. But it's like same thing, but it's like, okay, it serves the song. But on that one, I still had the remnants of that, just like whatever, just like put a solo, just an improv solo in there. And it's like one of my favorite parts because it's in there, but it's super quiet towards the end where you can kind of just barely hear it in the background. And it's kind of hard to notice, but it's like one of my favorite parts of that song.
Yeah, no, actually, I took notice of it while we were listening. I actually, in my notes, I wrote down quiet, barely audible, free jazz type solo right as soon as the parts begin to devolve into one note repetition. Like, again, that's not a jab. Literally, the part in the song, the parts begin to kind of devolve and just turn into like one note being struck over and over and over, which again, I like that type of stuff. And then finally, there's like a big thundering sort of like piano key at the very end.
Yeah.
I like stuff like that. I think the middle of a song should be coherent and tidy and catchy and all the things that a song, should be. But I like when a song begins or ends with this sort of weird experimental intro type stuff, because it's like you're jarring people into and out of the experience.
Yeah, like ending songs is always like my favorite part of like making a song.
Yeah, definitely, because you've kind of earned some leeway by the end of it. Yeah, definitely. And then so with the song Wait, the vocals, did you double track the vocals on that one?
Yeah.
So I thought the double track vocals actually was like a nice touch, because I think it just added something.
Yeah. There's some songs where I will double check the vocals like manually, where I'll record one line and just do another line over. But there was also this thing where I saw that like John Lennon hated double checking vocals just because he thought it was so boring. So what they would do is they would record one vocal line and then basically duplicate it right underneath that, and then throw like a delay, and reverb on it on both ends, to where it's like it's basically the same. You're getting the same. It's the same vocals, but you're adding like a lot more room and a lot like that slight variation to where it sounds like it's double checked. And so for half of them I did that. For half of them I manually did it, and then some I did the little John Lennon hack.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. And then also at this point in the album, hearing an acoustic guitar, because I didn't mention this before, but I think on it was either on Transducer, that's when the album kind of gets into a softer area in terms of just the style. Like everything else before that is pretty, like heavier. And I think it it was right at that point that it was good that it came in at that time, the sort of softer stuff, because I was sort of looking for something to break up the I guess like, not that the songs are repetitive, but you in an album you want some variation, like that's sort of it's nice to have.
Like I tried to do that too, and like I just don't want to. I'm not a big fan of like going like hard and then soft and then hard pause, but like going like just that constant switch to where it's like, if you're gonna do that, do it once, but like I felt like I had so many that it was like a better idea to like slowly move it into that like motif.
Yeah, definitely. And so yeah, I think on the track Wait, like hearing that acoustic guitar at that point, I think it returned us to some simplicity, which was refreshing. And then also it had kind of a country influence with the harmonica and stuff like that. It reminded me of late Mac DeMarco. Another thing I want to say for anybody who's watching this, if you get the chance, you should go to Cason's YouTube channel and actually check out some of the music videos that he made for the demo version of a lot of these songs. Because whenever we were first doing this, and I want to talk about the song. I want to talk about the one joke song you did. So yeah, I think if you guys get the chance, you should go check out some of the music videos, because to me, the videos to this, showing like the visual of a lot of what you were trying to do with the songs, actually to me adds and it helps to convey a lot of what you're trying to put across. And then I know you said you ordered the tracks in order of like how you liked them, like how much you liked them. Okay, because actually questions.
Okay, no. So not that I ordered them and how much I liked them, not that it's in decreasing order, but okay. So let me say, I didn't tell you this because I didn't want to sway your opinion. Questions is, I feel like, probably the greatest thing that I've ever produced.
I thought, it was one of my favorites that I've ever heard from you. Because so the song Questions, it opens with this radio recording, and also the whole tape has kind of a lo-fi, grainy sort of feel to the audio, which I like. I'm a fan of that kind of stuff. And but there's a radio section. It sounds like you just recorded something that you were hearing on the radio. You had said it was like some kind of a preacher or somebody. Yeah,
I literally got so lucky because I was driving home from Huntsville. And I was like, sometimes I get so bored that I'll just turn on the radio and be like, bro, I'm just going to listen to whatever they decide to play. And I was just flipping through channels. And then I had the idea, and I probably heard it in a song. I think I heard it in a radio department song. But I had the idea of like, oh, dude, I should do like a little vocal sample. And so I was like, okay, here, I found a channel where somebody's just talking. Let me just hit record. And so I just hit record, and then it's him. It's a snippet of this preacher basically saying like, I'm always, I used to always ask why. Like I wanted to know why. I drove my professors crazy because I just wanted to know why. And he's just like talking about just saying that over and over again. And there's one part where he goes, I want to know why. And I was like, as I was recording, I was like, yes, dude, this is awesome.
Yeah. And do you just record it with your phone or what?
Yeah, I just recorded it straight off my phone.
Cool. Yeah. I think that part was cool, and I thought it was pretty fitting for the overall vibe, because I felt like a lot of the lyrics in the album were, there's sort of a feel good aspect to it and a happy go lucky aspect to it. But I think also there's parts of it that are a bit more existential or like reflective than maybe just the average like pop rock like record. And so I like elements like that. I'm into stuff like that. A lot of like my review is pretty much just telling you guys what I like about the record specifically. You guys might listen to it and have a totally different opinion, but and obviously me and you growing up together and just literally knowing each other for our entire lives, it's easy for us to know what the other one will like. But to me, as I was listening to this, it was pretty obvious to me which songs were later in the development or which songs were, because I felt like over the course of the record, your songwriting like grew and improved.
Oh yeah.
So
which ones do you think were later?
Supercoat and Questions for sure.
Okay, yeah. Because those were like the two last songs that I wrote for the album where I was like, dude, I'm really getting in my bag right here. It went from I started with let's see, the earliest songs were Come Undone, One and the Same, Wait, Transducer, and then like I Got the Money, Hey, What's Your Name, Grow Up. And then after that was like the first kind of iteration of the recording. And then after that, I took a really long hiatus, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna just write a song whenever it comes to me. And then that was kind of just, I wrote those two songs where I was just like bored, just messing around, and I was like, yeah, dog, I'm really getting in my bag with this one.
Yeah, I felt like, so we hadn't even talked about the album really before doing this episode because we wanted everything to be fresh for the podcast. I think that, like I said, it was pretty clear which songs were later because, and this is what I wrote in my notes. I said, they show development in structure and also confidence. So it's funny that you say that you felt like, your confidence was growing.
Yeah.
I thought that in Questions, there was a line that I really liked, which is, you can buy their love, but they won't name a price. I thought that was cool. Yeah. I like stuff like that. And then, Questions was one of my favorite because I felt like it was the most cohesive and dynamic, and it was feel good, but also introspective. And the actual chord choices and stuff reminded me of John Mayer's album Room for Squares. Anyways, that's all my notes from the album. I thought it was cool. I think you guys should definitely check it out. Like I said, as like an older brother, I'm very proud of Cason for actually sticking out this creative challenge. He definitely showed like the fruits of perseverance and stuff like that. So, you got any words you want to give?
No, not really. I feel like kind of just my process through the whole album was like, and me and we had kind of talked about this before, but like I was super obsessed or like kept thinking throughout the production of it, okay, how do I make this one feel like an actual album opposed to like my old EP where it was just like, yeah, here are some noises that I think can pass as songs. And like I was really obsessed with that. Okay, how do I do it production wise? Well, how do I do it like genre wise? How do I do it like, effect wise? And I feel like that it helped me, but also to the same effect, I would almost limit myself because I would be like, oh, I have this idea for this song, but it's a little bit more folk, and that's not what I want to do this with this album. Or I have this idea for this song, but it's a little like it's super keyboard heavy, and I don't want to do that for this album. I want to, kind of. But towards the end, I was like, bro, I just need to just write a bunch of songs. Just good. I mean, it's super cliche or like kind of obvious, and you might be like, yeah, no shit, dude. But like, I was like, I just need to write a bunch of songs that I think are good, and then put them out, and then see what at the end of it comes of it, and what that all of that like accumulative sound is as a genre, or as like a style. Yeah.
So yeah, guys, definitely go check it out. Yeah. No, it's one of those things where now that we're at the end of it, I'm looking and I'm like, damn, like I wish I would have stuck it out more with the writing and stuff.
Yeah.
Cause I don't know. But still, like I said, like it's just it's cool. It's cool to see, all 9 songs out. So you think you'll do like another album after this?
Yeah, I don't want to. I hate being like I hate telling my plans for projects before I do them. But I've had a bunch of different ideas for like mini projects. I think definitely what I'm going to start doing is like eventually I want to do like another full length album. But I think for right now, I just want to do a bunch of like mini projects just as like fun little experiments. So yeah.
So since you're back in town, yesterday we were recording some stuff for Gore's, and I want to talk about some of the stuff that we were making because I thought it was cool, but maybe it would probably be better to not go into super in depth on that. But did you expect to be working on like another Gore's album at any point?
Bro, like, yeah, I feel like, yeah, I think so, because it's like we're obviously, it's not like we're never going to see each other again, or like we're not going to see each other, you know, for another year or something. Like we're going to, you know, I'm going to come up here and visit and stuff. And so it's like, it was kind of just one of those things where it's like, it's kind of like a time thing where, like at some point it's going to happen. At some point we're going to like be like, okay, oh, I like this song, or like, oh, this jam session was really cool. We should continue to work on that. Which, I mean, we're working on it right now, and it could be another like year or so before anything even comes out.
No, Cap, I ain't trying to wait a whole year. I ain't trying to wait a whole year.
Don't make me wait so long.
Look, I'm of the belief that you should try to get stuff out as quick as possible.
Yeah. Nah,
I'm
but
not
like,
a perfectionist.
My point being, like, it was kind of just a matter of time thing where, like, we joke like, oh, the Gores broke up, but it's also like, not really. It's not like we were like, okay, that's it, we're done making music together. Yeah. We're not like the Beatles where it's like we legally like can't make music together anymore or some shit.
Man.
And I mean, like, we still have a huge fan base. we're still like, we are more relevant now than ever.
I tell you what, that is one thing I really have not figured out how to do, is like actually get a bunch of beautiful people listen to your stuff. Like, yeah. I'm like, man, I just got to put out what I think is cool, and then you know.
Well, dude, that's how I felt when I was making the album. Is like the whole time I was like, oh hell yeah, bro. Like, I haven't told anybody about this, but I know when I drop this, like, people are gonna be like, oh shit, like, yo, that's dope, blah blah blah. And like, it was almost more exciting making the album than like putting it out, because it felt like the whole time you're making it, you're like, oh dude, I just can't wait to put it out. I can't wait to see people's reaction to all this stuff. And then like I put it out, and it was like people were like
crickets.
Like people like, oh dude, I listen to your album. It's cool. Thanks, dude. And then it's like, which is not to be like, what the fuck, but it's also like, you shouldn't. If I'm making music, if we're making music, the goal should just be to make music. Yeah. Which is like, honestly, whenever I look at this, whenever I look at it 10 years down the road, if this is all that comes of it, is this podcast, and every now and then somebody DMs me on Instagram, yo, that was dope. Like, I'd be happy, because it was more so just the idea of like, I wanna put out music, and I want to make music.
Well,
that I can show people, and people like, you know, validate me.
Right. They give you your flowers.
Because I want to be like, making music isn't really the thing I want to do. I just want to be seen as the guy who makes music.
Right. Like
it's the troubled artist.
It's a means to an end.
So I actually had a idea for a project after this, and like I said, like, I don't love putting out like, hey, this is what I'm doing as my next project. But I had a great idea for this project where it's like people love a redemption story. So it's like me overcoming some grief, or like some like addiction or something. So I was like, I have this great album for this, like, you know, redemption from this addiction. But like, I'm not addicted. I don't do drugs or anything. I'm not addicted to anything. But I'm like, it's such a great album that I think I'm gonna start doing some kind of drugs just to get addicted to it, and then I could put out that redemption album, because I think that will really be my magnum opus, that kind of redemption story. But right now, I'm not seen as a villain. Maybe I need to get in some controversy to be seen as a villain, so then I can, like, you know, revive my career. I don't know.
Well, at least 12 people will probably watch this podcast at some point, so you could probably just say something right now that would be controversial.
Yeah,
there's one thing you could do that would immediately make you a pariah.
Yeah, I think I'll hold off on it.
No, listen. What we were talking about with the putting stuff out, getting people to see it, One thing I actually learned while I was interviewing the bassist from Milk the G69 is, or G649? I forget the exact. Milk the G6. They're like a super dope band. I remember I first discovered them on Lightning Bolt Radio on Pandora. Who still listens to Pandora? I don't know anyone that still listens to Pandora, even though Pandora is pretty cool. I discovered a lot of new music on Pandora whenever I listened to it. But anyways, I was listening to Lightning Bolt. They're a relatively commercially successful artsy sort of band. And Milk was not as well known, but to me, it kind of had almost like a cult level status where I was like, man, this nobody knows about this band. I wonder what their lore is. I wonder what, and I like went and sought out the guy, and I did an interview with him, and I realized something through that interview. I was like, man, you can do something and put something out, and on your end, it doesn't seem like much came of it. Because that was his sort of impression. He was like, oh yeah, Milk was this cool thing I did whenever we were teenagers, and we played some shows and we put out an album, and but he's just a regular guy. But from that I got the understanding, oh, okay, like you can put something out and you not see very much from it, but like some kid on the other side of the country hears it, and it's like a cult level status for them where they're like, oh my gosh, how do people not know about this?
No, because like the best thing is when you go to Spotify and you're like, you hear one song and you're like, yo, this is dope, I gotta check out this album, and you go to their profile and you see like sub 100 monthly listeners, and you're like, yo, I just found a gem,
and they sound good too.
So like, yeah, that's my goal. I hope in like 30 years or something, some kid finds my music and they're like, yo, this freaking...
That's why I honestly think...
This boomer actually makes pretty good music.
That's why I think we should just put out... It kind of changed my attitude around putting out music now, where I'm like, yeah, I'm willing to kind of put out some stuff that's maybe seemingly kind of subpar for my own standards, because someone else might be sort of enchanted by it. Because also, too, you can never improve at the rate that you like are wanting to. Your expectations are always going to be slightly ahead of you, so you might as well just put stuff out, because there's going to be people who are maybe 2 steps behind in terms of skill or in terms of taste and stuff, and they're going to see the stuff, and it's going to be kind of monumental for where they're at. Yeah, they're going to appreciate it because
kind of inspiring.
It's going to be just within the range that they're like, this is cool, I appreciate this.
They're like, dude, this guy sucks, and he still put out music, so I can do it.
Yeah. Well, so I saw something the other day where somebody said that because they started learning guitar, they started to appreciate more types of music and more ranges of sound, because they were like, there was a song that they were trying to learn, and then when they learned it, they realized it actually wasn't as hard to play as they thought. And so they're like, well, because this song, like, I'm not as impressed with this song anymore, but now it's opened up this whole other range of sounds that I actually can appreciate, because I have a better understanding for what it takes to create them. And so it's just kind of interesting. Like, I think you should just put stuff out at whatever level you're at. What's that other band that they did the song Samurai Sword? They did the song that
Microphones?
Yes, Microphones. One of the things that people said about them was that they just started putting out music immediately, even whenever they were just first learning music. And I think that's something I could definitely incorporate. We have a few tracks, one with my buddy Logan, me and his band Blackmail Damage, and then also some solo stuff that I was doing. And then also me and Cason have some stuff with Gore. So we have one song with Gore, so it's kind of maybe a little bit too experimental to put out, but we might try to do something with it.
I really want to. I wish I could be a fly on the wall, or just like read people's minds at each show we've played, and like especially people who have been there for every single show, and like actually read, because you could ask somebody who was at the first show, and then they see like, or they've seen our progression, and like, what do you think? And they're your friend, or like, they're
always just gonna be like, oh, it's cool.
No, it was good. Yeah, no, you guys have really progressed. Like no, but like I actually want to like hear. I want to hear what their mind is like processing as they're hearing our first show, and then as they hear, our next show, and then the next one, and see like how we progress. Because I think, dude, it really is. If you go and listen to our last show and you go and listen to our first show, you will hear the difference, bro. Like you listen to a Nirvana record or like a Nirvana live show from one year to the next. You know, obviously they're a huge band, so it's like yeah. It's the same quality. It's different songs, but it's like the same quality. No, like the literal like musicianship from the first show to the last is like a vast difference. The songwriting too, bro. Like once again, I feel like our first show, at least on my end, it was one of those things where it's like, okay, what is the like the simplest sound I can put out that can be considered music? I hit her with my car.
I texted Joko the other day for me and Logan's band, Blackmail Damage. I was like, hey, bro, we got to, because Logan texted me. He said, dude, we got to play a show at Joko's garage. And so I texted Joko. I said, hey, dude. I said, hold up. Can we please have a DIY show at your house? No reply.
Dang.
Which I get it. It's a big ask. It's a big ask. Hey, can I get a bunch of drunk strangers to pull up to your house and play some and play some super loud music for like an hour? Yeah. Oh, dude, what the heck? Dude, you're not being cool right now.
Dude, you're not being cool about this at all, dude.
No, yeah, but hopefully we can try to do some recording today. Me and you work on some stuff, but and then okay, so we've been talking about music for a little bit now. I want to transition into some controversial topics. Let's talk about
really as soon as my career starts to take off.
Yeah,
you try to drag me down.
Well, you don't have to. You can. Here's what we can do. I can say the controversial stuff, and you can offer pushback. And,
I'll go.
And sort of.
No way, bro.
And sort of toe the party line. Which, by the way, dude,
no way.
By the way, dude, I've been watching the news a lot lately. Dude, there's a lot of corruption going on.
Wait. We should cut this into a short. Ready? Go.
Dude, I've been watching the news a lot lately. Oh wait, sorry, I didn't wait on you. Ready? Hey, dude.
Yeah.
I've been watching the news a lot lately.
The news?
Man, there's a lot of corruption going on.
Like what?
Just like politicians and corporations being greedy.
No way.
What should we do about it? I'm kidding.
Sitting up watching the morning news. I gotta stop this.
Yeah. How do people not know about this? Yeah. Anyways, so let's talk business. The Iran war. What are your thoughts on it? What do you even know about it?
I think war is bad.
So legitimately, do you like pay any attention to the news, politics, global events, anything like that?
Like a little bit. A little bit.
Like you just not are curious about it, or
like no, I'll like read stuff and like, but I'm not like super tapped in.
You're like, what is the next sports?
Yeah, I could tell you every free agent move of this NFL offseason, but like,
man,
what's going on over there? Is
what's
something
going
happening
on over
or?
There? Like, in all seriousness, I want you to tell me what's going on, okay?
I know that, like,
fill me in. Like, act like I just came out of a cave and I'm genuinely curious. Or like, I've been in a coma for years. I'm your brother. I've been in a coma for years. I wake up out of my coma. I'm like, so Cason, what's been going on the past few months? Like, catch me up to speed.
Well, they like caught like one of the biggest like sex trafficking, underground fucking ploys in world history, and then now there's a war with Iran.
What? Why?
Oh, brother.
Wait, what? A war with Iran? What? Why? What could possibly be happening?
So like
that we would go to war with them? Did they attack us?
No, like imagine like
wait, did they attack us?
Imagine like you have a friend who like how do I say this?
Just you can say it super openly because I'm totally cool with on this podcast being
I don't know if I am.
very direct about what is actually happening.
Yeah, I don't know if I am.
You're not. Okay. So
No.
Here's what we'll do. I'm gonna what?
I just
Look. How about this? Are you cool with me being kind of blunt about it? Not crude.
whatever, dude.
Not crude,
You're
but
just gonna watch it.
well. Okay. So look. Do you actually not know why we're attacking?
I do. Well,
You just don't want to talk about it.
yeah,
Dude, it's like all of the news now. It's like you can't scroll on Instagram without just seeing every other video.
So,
this.
from my understanding, Israel and Iran just had kind of a beef. I don't know why they're beefing. Is it low key like a religious thing?
Well, yes and no. So okay. So long story short, Israel has this thing called the Greater Zion Project. And the idea is they want to reestablish the borders of what they believe was the kingdom of Jerusalem in the Old Testament. Yeah. And so they believe that they have like a blood right to they have like a birthright to all of that land in the area, that it's holy land.
Isn't this low-key like a war that's like, or like a beef that's been going on for like literally thousands of years?
Well, between
what is known as
between the Israelis and the Palestinians, yes. But in terms of Iran is just kind of like the biggest threat in that area to Israel's complete dominance of the Middle East. And so they have been sort of a target for a long time. And bombing Iran has been sort of seen as like a punchline, as like it's been seen as a punchline for doing exactly what Israel wants you to do for like decades now. Like it would be to the point where it's like, oh yeah, like what are we gonna do? Bomb Iran? Like it was literally, it was like a punchline for like, oh, what are we just gonna literally do? What they want, like fulfill their wish list and stuff. But no, actually, Israel or Donald Trump decided he wants to bomb Iran. Yeah. But pretty much they went ahead and started bombing Iran's nuclear facilities and stuff like that. If you'll remember last summer, kind of toward the end of last summer, they bombed some nuclear facilities. And the whole idea is Netanyahu's saying, they're only 2 weeks away from a nuclear bomb. They're only 2 weeks away from a nuclear bomb. We got to stop them. They have weapons of mass destruction. It's sort of a lot of what was happening with, I believe, the Iraq War, where it's like, oh, we gotta stop Saddam Hussein. He's got weapons of mass destruction. But it's not that at all. It's an imperial project. It's an attempt at empire building. They are gonna, so they killed the leader of Iran. Khamenei, I guess I don't know how you pronounce his name exactly, but the idea was they were going to try to stoke a coup and get the Iranian people to rise up and overthrow the government, but they hate us. Yeah. So they're like, nah, we're not doing that. We're like, you guys are invaders. We're going to war with you. We're not going to, because the whole idea is that like America's pretty much doing Israel's bidding. And the idea is we're going to go in there, we're going to do regime change, we're going to try to fund these, color revolutions and get the people to rise up against their government. But like, they're not buying it. They're like, we don't want your fake and gay democracy, freedoms type stuff. We've seen how that's worked out for your countries, where it just literally turns them degenerate, and we're good. We're good on that. Thank you. And so the sort of routine playbook that's been used for the past I don't even know how many years in the Middle East is like kind of, it's old hat, and it's not really going very well. The idea was they weren't even wanting to call this a war originally. The U.S. government was they were saying, oh, this is not a war. This is just a quick Operation Epic Fury, Operation Le Epic Chungus. And we're going to go in and we're going to immediately win because we're the good guys. And also, by the way, did you know we're helping Jesus come back? That was a big thing too with Operation Epic Fury. There was U.S. generals who were telling their soldiers that this was helping to usher in an eschatological event, and that this was helping to usher in the second coming of the Messiah. And so you asked if this is a religious thing. Yes, it is a religious thing because the Greater Israel Project is sort of tied up with what's called Zionist, or like the Zionist theology, dispensationalist theology. Dispensationalism is this view that like there's two covenants, that the Jews are the chosen people, and that they are the true, that they are Israel, and we have to bless them. We have to do whatever they say. If they bomb a hospital, then we gotta support it because we gotta bless Israel, and that's the idea behind dispensationalist theology. And so, in dispensationalist theology, they believe that when Israel builds the third temple, that Jesus will come back. Similarly, the Jews themselves believe that, the Zionist Jews, because also there's division among the Jews. The Orthodox Jews are not pro-Zionist for the most part, and the more Reformed, conservative, and liberal, progressive Jews are kind of more on the side of being pro-Zionism. But the Jews, the Zionist Jews themselves believe that their goal is to reconstruct the temple, which will be the third temple, and that when they do that, their Messiah will reign. They believe that after Netanyahu, the next leader of Israel will be the Messiah himself. And so you can kind of see how the Christian Zionist, the dispensationalist Christian, and the Jewish Zionist eschatologies kind of converge, where they are both looking for the rebuilding of the third temple. They both believe at this rebuilding of the third temple and at the complete dominance of Israel in the Middle East, that the Messiah will come, he'll establish peace, da 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 da. So you can almost kind of see how these American Christian, evangelical Christian Zionists are looking to the coming of this Jewish Messiah as like the second coming of Jesus.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Another thing too is that in Christian Zionism, which is heavily influenced by dispensationalist theology, or you can almost say that they're synonymous or that they're the same thing, but they believe that there will be like an earthly reign of Jesus, that he will come onto the earth and reign for 1,000 years and establish his kingdom, his world peace, because it says that, I believe in Revelation, it says that the Messiah will come, he'll establish 1,000-year kingdom, and then Satan will be loosed for a time, and then the end will finally come. This is called millennialism. And the idea is that like we don't interpret, like in the Orthodox Church, we don't interpret that as a literal 1,000 years, because it would be kind of crazy to say that Jesus is going to come, establish a kingdom on earth for 1,000 years, and then somehow that kingdom is going to end.
Yeah.
Because in the Nicene Creed, we say that his kingdom shall have no end. So it wouldn't make sense for Jesus to come on earth, establish a 1,000-year political reign.
Just for it to end.
And him be like, oh, psych, guys, I'm going to let Satan come back in for a little bit now, but I'll be back. So we interpret the 1,000 years as a metaphor for the entire age of the church, which essentially just means the entire amount of time spanning Christ's incarnation all the way to the end. Mm-hmm. That's the 1,000 years. 1,000 years in the Bible is just a symbol for a really freaking long time. Like that's what it is. But in the Zionist or the dispensationalist,
they take it quite literally.
They take it very literally, and you can kind of see how it kind of preps people to cheer on the Jewish Messiah, which we'll go ahead and say is the Antichrist. We'll go ahead and say that he's the Antichrist. I think that's safe. I think that's a safe bet. And so you asked if this is religious. In a sense, yes. It's political and it's religious, and the religious and the political dimension are very tied up together. And Trump is very bought into the kind of Zionist sort of thing.
I knew that. I knew that he was kind of obviously I didn't really know.
He's like the most pro-Israel president we've ever had.
But I knew it was like I didn't know a whole lot about it, but I just knew it was like, yeah, we're basically just over there to like do their bidding. And Trump was like kind of the whole reason behind that.
Well, and the idea was that, we were thinking that Trump was, he almost got ASSINATED. Did I spell that wrong?
ASSINATED.
He almost got that. And we were thinking, oh man, he has a mandate of heaven. He's about to go, and he's about to really he's going to be this great liberator of the American people from this sort of this influence. But no,
it's all just so
faking. I guess the gravity of the situation,
sitcom, bro.
They're
all corrupt.
Right. Dude, I've been watching the news lately, and I actually figured out that there actually is a lot of corruption going on. Did you know that?
Like Snapchat news?
Yeah, I was watching Snapchat news. But anyways, let me run to the restroom real quick. Go ahead and just keep talking, keep monologuing.
This is not Chungus, guys. We're getting into stuff where it's it's time to put the Xbox down, and it's real heckin' Chungus out here. No, I had already been pretty skeptical about Trump, and there was this video where, especially after all the Epstein stuff comes out, and there's this reporter. It's as it's coming out, still hot off the press, and this reporter is asking him about it, and she's I forgot what she asked him, but she's basically just asking him about it, and he as it is coming out, it's hot on the press. It's the hottest thing since sliced bread. He's you guys really just need to get over it and find a new story. This is old news. You guys just need to just get over it. I feel like y'all are just bored and y'all are just rehashing the same story. And I'm no, this is no, this stuff is
the biggest
story.
Piece of news, biggest news story.
He's like
American history.
Yeah, I just need to let it go. It's like your girlfriend cheats on you, and you're yo, what the hell? And she's dude, you need to let that go.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you're obsessed with this.
Yeah, you're making this such a big deal. Oh, my fault. Yeah, it's not that big of a deal. My bad.
But so what I was saying earlier, again. It's funny that right as soon as the heat is being put on Trump about the Epstein files, and I want to go ahead and preface this by saying I'm not a libtard, I'm not a leftist. I am probably I'm the most conservative person that I know. The American right wing has been split down the middle between people who are just fanatically loyal and dogmatically loyal to Trump. He can do no wrong. He is infallible. He is the God Emperor. We have to follow him. He can do no wrong. And people who are yo, what's up with these Epstein files? Why are we covering this up? Hey, yo, why do we start this?
Well, actually, he was a whistleblower.
Why do we? Oh yeah, remember he was deep undercover. He was the hero, right?
He's actually Iron Man.
Yeah. Why do we start this Iran war right as soon as the heat was being put on these Epstein files? Why are we just blindly doing Israel's bidding? There's people who have legitimate grievances with Trump. Also, he literally campaigned on no new wars. I'm pretty sure whenever I went to vote for him in 2024, when he said no new wars, I pretty much thought that meant that there was not going to be any new wars. But I guess I'm just stupid. But yeah, no, they just blatantly lied about all their campaign promises. And I'm no, there's nobody on earth who I'm so loyal to that I will just let that slide. I don't care how funny his tweets were in 2016 or whatever. It's the 20s. Yeah, that Trump is gone. He is I don't know. He's a shell of his former self. I don't know what happened, but and also too. So recently, Joe Kent, who was let's see, he was, I forget which office he held. He was director of National Counterterrorism Center. He put in his resignation. So he said, after much reflection, I have decided to resign from my position as director of the National Counterterrorism Center effective today. I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation. and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. It has been an honor serving under POTUS and leading the professionals at NCTC. God bless America. And then Trump immediately started blasting him, and it's just like, bruh, like your own like the people who are literally like, first of all, props to Joe Kent. That definitely earns him some capital in terms of like my view of him and stuff, because I think it takes a lot to sort of step away from a position of power to just be like, yeah, this ain't right, and the war in Iran from a pragmatic standpoint, it's not looking very good, because like I said earlier, I kind of got off I got off the rails whenever I was describing it earlier, but it's strategically not looking like it's going to be very good for America. It's not looking very advantageous. It's not looking like originally the idea was Operation Epic Fury. We're going to go in there. It's going to take 12 minutes. We're going to go just like we went to Venezuela. We're going to immediately kill their leader and we're going to do regime change. Pop. It's going to be clean, simple operation. And then they were like, actually, guys, this might take 4 to 5 days to settle. We were thinking it was going to be a quick thing, but it might take 4 or 5 days for this whole operation to settle. And then they were like, actually, guys, it's looking like it's going to be probably closer to 4 or 5 weeks until we can get this situation in Iran resolved. But don't worry, it's not a war yet. It's just a quick, clean operation. We're just going to get this taken care of. Now the projection, the last one I heard is, really realistically, this is going to be looking like a 4 to 5 month engagement in this conflict, and realistically, we're probably looking at something that, I mean, it may be
like 4 to 5 years.
Maybe 4 to 5 years. Yeah, I mean, but so I don't know, and I didn't want to totally go here while we were on the podcast, but I mean, do you know that America going to war with Iran and like America going to war with Iran on behalf of Israel is like part of Orthodox prophecy?
Really?
There have been Orthodox monks and elders who prophesied that Israel would strike Iran's nuclear centers. That happened last summer. That like America would essentially be pulled into a conflict against her own, sort of wishes, and that this would sort of spark the beginning of World War III, because we essentially see World War III going on right now with the kind of global conflict that's happening on behalf of like Israel, America, NATO versus, Russia and these other countries, because the Russia-Ukraine war is kind of like a proxy of this war. That's one front. And then you got this other front right now going on in the Middle East. And so the idea, or part of the prophecies, and the thing about these prophecies is they're only so specific, right? And the idea with the prophecy is it can be put off to a later date, or it can be postponed, or it can come earlier, depending on people's repentance. But that Iran's nuclear facilities would be struck by Israel. That happened last summer. And that America would be drawn into a conflict with Iran because of Israel, but that America would have to eventually withdraw from the conflict because it's going to suffer some natural disaster that's going to, in the words of the prophecy, bring the country to its knees. And that America would be humbled, but that after its great humbling, that it would repent and become a holy nation. But what they've said is that the next things to look for is Erdogan, the current leader of Turkey, falling out of power. And I haven't looked at this before the podcast. I don't know what it's going to say when I look this up. I'm going to look up Erdogan news. I don't know what this is going to say. It could say, hey, he's doing fine. Let's see here.
I'm walking off the pod. I'll be back.
But anyways, I know I sound like probably a schizo right now. And I'm a lot of this is just purely off memory, so a lot of it may not even be perfectly cited. I could have made plenty of, informational mistakes there. But all I mean to say is if you're only paying attention to this in terms of what the news is telling you, then you're going to get a skewed view. You're going to essentially get, you're going to get yanked around by all the money that goes into making sure you see things a very certain way. But it is literally impossible to have any understanding of world events or of history or of anything like that apart from some spiritual interpretation or the spiritual dimension is impossible to divorce from the actual historical dimension of things.
I saw something about Protestant churches being geofenced by Israel to be targeted for Israel propaganda, pro-Israel propaganda.
Well, I mean, but here's the thing, right? Whoa, shit. Cut that out. Check 1 2. Yeah. Well, so I mean, if you think about it, the entire world pretty much sees exactly what's going on with this whole Israel thing. They're like, yo, these people are terrible. They're bombing innocent people. They're they have this bloodlust. They just want to literally. Hey, let me take this call real quick. Talk a little bit about that and try to keep it on topic because I want to say something about that when I come back.
Shoot.
Or just go off topic and I'll bring it back to that.
Excuse me. Yeah, I saw that on Instagram. And it's just scary. But I feel like it it makes sense. Basically, if you don't know what I'm meaning, and I've already dug myself in a hole, but if you go to a church that was on this list that pro-Israel organizations paid to geofence, and you were in that geofence, that your phone would be targeted for ads that were pro-Israel. I don't know how true that was. I saw it on Instagram Reels. Obviously, a great source for reliable information. But it's just scary. That's really scary. Especially because... Especially if... if you already weren't... Like kind of like what Parks was saying, where like if you're already like blind and you're just like pro-Trump and you don't really understand much about it and you're just like, well, we got to protect Israel. That's what we got to do. We got to protect Israel. So I'm just being...
No, listen. So the reason why they're, I guess, maybe doubling down on the dispensationalist propaganda for Protestant churches is that is sort of the last stronghold of this Zionist dispensationalist propaganda.
That's what I was saying. I really wasn't doing it. I was like legit being like, if you're already gullible enough to be like, well, Trump's saying it. I'm conservative. Trump's saying it, and like, yeah, they're saying we got to protect Israel. So I don't know why we're in this war, but like,
right.
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, I remember growing up, being in the Protestant church, being in the Baptist church, and being told like, oh yeah, like Israel, you got to support Israel. You got to bless Israel if you want to be blessed. We have to always be their ally. And there was this conflation. I might explain here in a second why this is like not true. Why this is it's a lie. It really is a lie, and it's a lie. It's a pernicious lie. It's an evil lie. But so what I mean to say is that Protestants are Zionist Protestants, because there's some Protestants that are based. Okay, there's some Protestants who have read the Bible and had a surface level understanding of what it was trying to say, and obviously don't fall for this propaganda. But there's a lot of people who just don't. They just trust what their pastor tells them. They trust, this modern day nation state formed in 1948 by the Rothschilds is somehow the equivalent of the Old Testament Israel. But so this this modern day nation state, it is not Old Testament Israel. Not only that, but even if it were, you still wouldn't have to support every single thing that they do. I'm pretty sure in the Old Testament, God tells Israel, he says, I'm going to offer you a certificate of divorce because of your idolatry. So go and check. It's in Jeremiah. He says, I'm writing a certificate of divorce to this nation because it's unrepentant, it's idolatrous. They keep following after Baals. And so the idea is that, no, actually, when they do evil stuff, you can criticize them. We don't have to be their ally no matter what. And also, they are not the equivalent of this nation. And if you're a Christian, you don't have to support that nation because, I don't know, because they have a certain genetic code or something like that. Israel is and has always been like the true believers in the promise. What promise? Of Christ. Christ was that promise. The seed, the promise to Abraham is Christ. But so the reason why the reason why this lie that we have to support them is even still active is because Protestants have been propagandized to believe that you're not a Christian unless you support this nation. And it's sort of the last bastion of support that Israel has abroad, because most nations around the world have seen pretty clearly the empire building, the genocide, all the stuff that the nation of Israel has been doing, and they're like, yeah, no, we don't support that. And most nations around the world have not been propagandized by this dispensationalist theology, and so they're either Muslim or they're Orthodox Christian or even Catholic, and they kind of see this for what it is, which is just blatant propaganda. But anyways, I don't know totally where to go from there, but it's crazy because, like, dude, I go on Facebook and it's like Facebook is the dude.
I don't.
Facebook has like the most brain rot theology you'll ever come across.
I gotta download Facebook.
And Zionists, Christian Zionists, they love like to just put their dispensationalist theology on Facebook. You ain't a Christian if you don't support Israel. It's like, bruh, they're literally bombing other Christians in these surrounding countries. They're bombing Orthodox Christians. They're killing, actual Christians. So I'm not a Christian if I don't support the killing of other Christians. That's the logic. It's kind of crazy, right? Anyways, different topic. Do you see the rumor that people thought that Bibi Netanyahu was dead? So everyone thought that Bibi Netanyahu was dead because a video was released of him giving a speech, and he had like concentric rows of teeth and like 6 fingers on one hand. And everyone was like, yo, this video is AI. Like, why are they showing us an AI video of Netanyahu? And then there was rumors that Iran missile strike had hit where he was staying and that he had died in the missile strike. And when people were like, hey, can you guys verify if he is alive or not? Like, they weren't putting forth any sort of thing to try to counteract this claim. And so a lot of people were suspecting that Netanyahu had expired. Me personally, I think I don't think it's true. I think it's advantageous for Iran to sow confusion and distrust and all this sorts of stuff in the midst of war. If in a war you can try to convince people that their leader is dead, it might destroy morale. It might make them, get on their back foot a little bit, and it might help you with the war effort. And so, can't have dead air. So, finally, did you see the thing where Ted Cruz said that saying Christ is King is antiseptic? Antiseptic, you know what I'm saying? You're not a dummy.
No.
You know what I'm talking about? You don't know what I'm talking about? You didn't hear the Ted Cruz thing, or you don't know what antiseptic is code for?
I don't know it.
Bruh, you can't. Oh, okay. Antiseptic. Okay. We got it. I mean, we've already dropped. Dropped Jeff Stein's name. We've already dropped the I word about 20 billion times. We've already talked about booming and.
I love that this is associated with my album.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting another phone call. Okay, can you please just talk about some random stuff? And I got to take this phone call.
Well, go check out the album, guys. It might be my last. I don't know. Help me push the album to monetize it because I'm now on a list. I'm probably blacklisted in a lot of different organizations. You might never see me again. They might replace me. But they can never replace my music. Am I right? Nobody can make a song as good as Wallet. Nobody can make a song as good as I Got the Money. You can hope to, but can't do it. This music ain't AI. This is straight from human hands. Yeah.
What were you saying?
Stream the album, guys.
But yeah, anyways, Ted Cruz was like, yeah, it's antiseptic to say Christ is King.
Bruh.
Pretty soon it's going to be like illegal, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, I feel like Christians have been always pretty persecuted pretty.
Oh yeah, definitely.
hard.
Like it's nothing new. I mean, Jesus said, if the world hates you, just remember that it hated me first, and that's proof, that you belong to me. But I just think it's kind of crazy that like
it's getting to that point.
Well, and Ted Cruz tried to make the argument the other day that he's quote unquote a Christian, but then he turns right around and says, "Oh yes, if you say Christ is King, then you are blah blah blah," and it's like. Yeah. Anyways, but yeah. So, guys, the spiritual deception is in full display. You definitely gotta lock in. You gotta read that Bible, not the Schofield Study Bible. You gotta read a real Bible, not the Freemasonic Bible. You gotta read a real Bible. But anyways, how long have we been at this? Okay, we've been at this for a minute.
Long enough not to get monetized on this video.
Long enough. Trust me, we've never been monetized. But anyways, guys, stream Cason's album, read your Bible, and yeah, I don't have anything clever to say.
Christ is King.
Yeah, Christ is King.